Brexit, the corona pandemic, and the Ukraine war have massively fueled inflation in Great Britain. Two large retail chains are now counteracting this with effective advertising. Two of the UK's largest retailers are responding to the skyrocketing cost of living with price cuts and wage increases. The Morrisons chain is reducing prices on more than 100 main products, as reported by the trade journal The Grocer. For some foods, such as rice, eggs, chicken, and cereal, prices are expected to fall by an average of 13%. We know our customers are under real financial pressure right now, and we want to do our part to help them when it comes to the cost of grocery shopping, said CEO David Potts. At the same time, the company is increasing wages by 4.5%. Overall, Morrisons invested the equivalent of €86.5 million. The company had previously announced that it expected significantly lower revenues due to the enormous increase in inflation and the Russian war against Ukraine. Competitor Asda wants to go a similar way. The comprehensive steps therefore provide for price reductions averaging 12% for a range of fresh food, but also rice, pasta, soft drinks, and frozen products. The number three also wants to increase the wages of 120,000 hourly workers to 10.10 an hour from July. That's 60p more than the statutory minimum wages for over 23rds. Bonus payments and other financial benefits are also planned, reports The Grocer. Employee representatives welcomed the wage increases. Retail workers, mostly women, face the fact every day that they have to live with low wages, said Nadine Houghton of the GMB union. At the same time, she emphasized that the step was overdue. In the UK, inflation rose 6.2% year-on-year in March. In April, the energy prices for households and the basic tariff also rose by more than 50%, and social security contributions were also increased significantly. Trade is always a topic related to Brexit. After Boris Johnson's announcement of an upcoming, what I call Bollywood trade deal, EU Commission President Ursula von der Leyen also traveled to India. Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi likes to host international greats, as we've seen with Johnson, and he can do that again since the pandemic situation on the subcontinent has eased. He thus recently began a series of diplomatically and economically important meetings that were intended to outstrip Russia. British Prime Minister Boris Johnson arrived in the capital Delhi last week, followed by EU Commission President Ursula von der Leyen. Well, in Ukraine she was first, here she's after Boris. But both came with similar goals: advance a respective free trade agreement and with one or the other cooperation in the armaments sector. But that's not all. Digitization, technology, trade, and the fight against climate change were on the agenda, von der Leyen explained at her meeting with Modi on Monday. The EU is India's third most important trading partner and one of its most important investors. And we can do so much more. Specifically, the establishment of a Trade and Technology Council was presented. It is supposed to make India more independent from China and Russia. In 2021, a so-called Trade and Technology Council was set up with the USA. Shifts in the geopolitical environment made it clear that strategic engagement was needed. That's what the joint statement said now. Von der Leyen emphasizes that they want to reduce India's energy dependency on Russia, which, however, is low compared to the EU's dependency. Greater EU engagement in the Indo-Pacific and security in relation to China were also discussed. In April, India and Australia signed a preliminary free trade agreement. English is not so easy. A similar interim agreement between India and the EU could be a possibility, says Indian financial expert Bhavik Dant, who sees advantages for both sides. Dant highlights India's strength in the automotive, IT services, and pharmaceutical sectors. In addition, India is an agricultural producer and would like to export more wheat, for example, which could benefit the EU in the current situation. On the other hand, India is an interesting sales market for the EU. Dant sees higher imports from the EU as a result of falling tariffs in the areas mentioned as manageable for the Indian labour market. India's focus will be on attracting more investment and production to the subcontinent. In the past, for example, German car manufacturers moved to India to avoid surcharges of up to 100%. Although talks about simplified trades have been intensified for a year, all of this is happening against the background that Vladimir Putin and Modi decided shortly before the start of the war to expand the armaments sector and to jointly produce rifles. Johnson offered Delhi expertise to manufacture its own fighter jets. The EU also offers possible joint ventures. In the field of renewable energies, the EU and India want to further develop their relations. On Sunday, von der Leyen held talks on climate and energy issues with the International Solar Alliance, the Environmental and Energy Research Institute TERI, and climate activists. The meeting was overshadowed by India's refusal to openly condemn President Vladimir Putin's invasion. Although Modi described the situation in Ukraine as very worrying, he did not criticize the Russian president. And I'll see you in my next video. Bis gleich.